So the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas comes your way from Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday the 16th of December. A race steeped in tradition as we continue the Cape Summer Festival. And I'm joined by Devon, Pretorius and Niekerk, two of the finest minds that you can possibly imagine. And I'll welcome them officially in just a moment. But I just have a small favour to ask all our viewers. If you don't mind subscribing to the Cape Racing page and giving us the support, and our promise to you is that we'll fill it with content, important and interesting pieces of information as the season and as 2024 wears on, and we'll also listen to all of your suggestions and see what you come up with and potentially work on those as well. Welcome, 10 races carded, so much going on. The Cops of Klopse will be here, expecting nearly 15,000 people at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on the 16th of December. There's a Pick 6 carryover with a target of 5 million rand. Don't forget to get onto CompuTicket, book your tickets and book your place at one of the rooms at this wonderful venue. Let's welcome Niekerk and Devon, Pretorius. I'll start off with Devon. Dev, you've done a couple of Guineas now in your time in racing. It really is one of the meetings. You were here last year, and I believe the vibe and the impression that the Cops of Klopse and the racing brought just took Cape racing to another level on the day.
It kind of kick-started the summer season. Obviously Charles Dickens won last year's Guineas and won in oh so impressive fashion, and obviously kick-started what was a hot summer here in the Western Cape. And afterwards we had the Cops of Klopse come down, and it was just a really great way to get the festive season going. And obviously looking forward to this year's renewal. We've got a great field, and yeah, looking forward to a great day of racing ahead.
And joined here by Niekerk, obviously one of the great jockeys on the South African roster. Grant, this morning I know that you were galloping youngsters, and just to throw forward, the Cape Guineas, such an institutional race, a lot of connections, bar horses, 4 Cape trainers, with obviously visions on Lomaron King's Plate, with visions of the World Sportsman in Cape Met. But the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas is such an important cog. You riding the current favourite Shishlui after winning the Cape Punters Cup a couple of weeks ago. So, you know, how much does this race mean to those around you?
Yeah, no, 100%. Look, I think you know, that's why owners get into the game for these type of meetings, and it's very exciting. You know, building up to these big races. You know, all the hype around, especially now this time of the year, we you know, a refurbished Kenilworth, and you know, everyone's quite excited to be. Even for owners to be owning a horse and having a runner, you know, a lot has changed, and it's really exciting times. And I think it's you know, you want to get into the racing now. It's just amazing vibe.
Absolutely right. So 10 races on the card. It's an early start. 11:30 is the Grand Slots Work Riders Maiden Plate over 1,000 metres. Field of 16 with 2 reserves involved. Obviously, Grant doesn't have a ride in the Work Riders race, so I'm going to kick straight forward to Devon. What catches you up is by Work Riders race standards, countrywide, this is not a bad field at all. They're horses that look like they're ready to win.
Certainly, Alistair, and one horse in particular, number 4, Casino Ace, looks to be one of the better bets in the card, I personally think. It's quite a trappy day of racing at Kenilworth on Saturday, but Casino Ace, obviously his Durbanville form has been quite impressive. His debut at Kenilworth last, a couple of months ago, just went a bit too keen, and I think the return back to Kenilworth, drop in distance back to 1,000 metres will suit him. And I think he's going to take the power of beating. The likely improver in the race is number 8, Always Free, from the Justin Snaith stable, and of course Sapiwa Feni is a top work rider and probably one of the best in the country, arguably. So you can expect improvement from him, but I do think number 4, Casino Ace, will take the power beating.
Grant's ridden 8 Always Free and 14 Land of Heaven, 2 horses that come off long layoffs. Do you remember anything about number 8 Always Free, Grant? As Devon mentioned, Shorty Feni takes a ride. Would it be Justin's way to have a horse ready 254 days after? And potentially the most important question I got for you, big field down the straight, 1,000 metres. We've had a few meetings here at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on return. Do you think there's any bias? Do you favour one side over the other, or shortest point between 2 points is a straight line?
I think it will be fair. It's been fair, this course, and you know, especially in the work riders races. I always tell the guys I work with, it's all about pace, and some of them just go crazy odd pace. If a horse has been off for that long, 5 furlong doesn't really you know, make much of a difference, and I'm pretty sure Justin will have this horse ready. Can't remember much of them, I'll be honest, but Always Free ran a half decent race for me first time, and I'm sure you'd you know, come on with that.
Okay, so that's the first race on the card. As the bar pot begins in race number 2 in the 10 race program, off at 12:05, the Cops of Klopse Summer Coronation Plate over 1,000 metres. This race for fillies, there are 3 horses who have form, 3 Sahara Cat, 8 Blown in the Wind, and 9 Whistle the Tune. There was 3 parts of a length between Blown in the Wind and Whistle the Tune. First time round, Grant, you got 3 kilos to play with on number 8 Blown in the Wind. Has she made any progress? Do you think she can turn around with the type of weight advantage that she's got, obviously with the unknown factor of first-timers?
Yeah, 2 cages, I think. My footy was very green on debut, and I think we should turn around the form. I think I was very unlucky not to win that day anyway, so it's not much left in the field. I think Sahara Cat, Vaughan Marshall's runner, Vaughan Marshall's very hard to beat in these baby races, so I would definitely need to beat those 3 for me. I do think I can turn the form around with Whistle the Tune.
Experience is such a key factor, Devon. Which way are you going in race number 2? Is there any word out for any of the first-timers that you know of?
Nothing that I've heard of, unfortunately. I do think the experience is going to play a key factor here. 3 kilograms swinging around in the weights were blown in the wind, and yeah, no pressure Grant. I think that's probably the horse that's going to have to win here. Sahara Cat was quite impressive on debut. She showed some good pace, but now she's stepping up to 1,000 meters, of course, just a couple of weeks after her debut. So yeah, blown in the wind to beat Whistle the Tune. And then number 3, Sahara Cat, so 8.93 in the second race.
Watch the betting on the second race on the card, and if something catches your eye on the way down to the start, consider that as well in the opening leg of the bar pot. But it does look like the race runners have an advantage, especially now that One World's underway with a winner at Turfentine on Tuesday. Race number 3 begins the place accumulator, the Heart FM Commonwealth Plate, over 1,000 metres. One scratching at the time of recording, that's number 6 on the card, Handsome Prince. Again, Devon, we don't have too much form to work with, but the form that we have to work with is fairly encouraging, with a few factors that might have played against 1 or 2 horses first time out. So again, same question, any word out, or are we relying on the race runners to lead the way?
Well, I visited the stables on Tuesday this week, and obviously saw some interesting runners which we'll touch on in a few races time. But one of the youngsters, number 5, Bjorn Ironside, he really looks like a smart colt in the making, and even he went down to the start. He was tried to race a few weeks ago, and obviously he was scratched at the pens, but he really caught the eye. He looks like a Pretorius type, and I think he's going to give a good account of himself. But with the race runners, 7 line ramparts, obviously we got collateral form of Sahara Cat in the previous race to work off, so just base that how Sahara Cat performs, follow up with the line ramparts. Very unlucky, he jumped a patch at the 100-meter mark when it looked like he was going to move up and take the race. So I think he's actually going to take a power of beating here. Richard Ferree now the jockey for the Vaughan Marshall yard, and maybe it could be One World's second winner this week.
Now, there are a couple of well-bred first-timers here. We've got the half-brother to Master Archie, Master Casper. We've got Unbel D, number 4 on the card. He'll be ridden by Muzi Yeni for Justin Snaith. There are a couple of other interestingly bred horses, perhaps more so, they'll ride the Grant van Niekerk, number 14, Roman Agent. We also got a half-brothers Grade 1 winner, Elysian Chief, in here, in the former number 15, Man Map. But Grant, your horse, 14, Roman Agent, son of Vercingetorix, out of a prolific family, Secret of Victoria. You're riding for your boss, Nick Johnson. Justin Snaith trains. What do you make of him?
He's quite a lethargic horse to ride at home. He's really still very backward, but you know, he gives you that feel that there's something there. So we are hoping he's bred really well. But I wouldn't look too far deep in these young horses. Literally anything can pop up, and you never know where you are with him.
Would it be Justin's way to bring a horse? I mean, he does train juvenile winners, obviously, but it would be Justin's style to let a horse come on with the first run of the belt, that they're good enough, if they're ready enough, they'll win. But is there a bigger picture generally with Justin?
Yeah, you know, this time of the year we had to get the babies going quite early because of our season played off. You know, I think personally, we had to rush them. For me, these babies they're at least a month or 2 behind. So it's been tough on us with our babies, but we had to sort of get them going, and that's why I can't give you much of an idea of, you know, how they would run. Especially because they're so green, especially when we bring them to gallop. I've galloped a few this morning and I had to sit tight. So yeah, we are rushing them. It's not ideal, but you know, we had to get them going at some point.
Yeah, and also with the various incentives that are in place, no surprise to see them stepping out quite early. Right, pick 6, Pick and Pay, Class 2 over 1,400 metres, race 4, runs at 18 minutes past 1, and this might be a Class 2. Obviously with the benchmark rating being 110, but there are horses here who have run at feature race level, horses that are held in high regard, horses that might have just lost a little bit of that gloss of late. Grant, you've got around on the form number 7, It's Raining William. Justin's got quite a lot of runners in this race. Tough decision to make?
Sure. if I could make the weight on Underworld, it'd probably be my first choice. Israeli Williams is a little bit of a tricky sort. He yanks any way he wants to, and he can run, of course, if he wants to. But he's got the ability, when he puts it together. I'll probably just have to go forward on him and try my luck from there. But there's a few in the race that I'd obviously be with above him. I really do think Underworlds would be, with that weight, be hard horse to beat.
So there's a little bit of food for thought coming from Grant. Dev, we've got, like I said, horses that probably their reputations precede themselves. First leg of the pick six, what do we need?
I actually think the best option is to go wide here. I think it's quite an open race. Obviously, Justin Snaith saddles 6 of the 9 runners. And funny enough, I've gone against him, so the odds are heavily against my favour in the opening leg of the pick six. I quite like Silver Operator. Second run after a break, if you look at his form, he's taken on some of the best horses in the country. Last season he raced against Jet Dart, he finished 1 3/4 of a length behind him, receiving just a kilogram. Finished behind Chip of Fortune, Almatana. He's got some seriously good form, and now stepping back up to 1400 metres, he's a course and distance specialist. 5 starts for 4 career wins. I think he's in the right sort of race, and he's trading about 10 to 1 at this stage. The betting came out today, and I think he's a lurker in the field. Underworld, big danger. And Grant, on a more personal note, obviously Two to Fair, I think you've ridden him quite a few times. He's a gutsy horse, and also course and distance specialist, 5 wins from 12 career starts.
Yeah, well,
Does he have the quality?
he does, of course, but he's also a tricky horse to ride. He has been off a little bit now. I think Justin, he does prefer riding fresh, so maybe that makes a difference.
Okay, so there are quite a few horses that you need in the first leg of the pick six, according to the guy. Silver Operator and Underworld, the 2 tones coming out of race number 4. Let's go on to race number 5, the Flash Class 4 over 1600 metres, first leg of jackpot number 1. I'm going to start with Grant again because we've got a quirky horse ridden by quirky jockey, and the quirky jockey got the most out of the quirky horse last time out, number 5, Kingdom of Heaven. Confidence back up with Kingdom of Heaven, that's probably the catalyst for him. Were there any white knuckle moments last time out? Was he just as quiet as anything, and in that type of mood he can do what he did last time out?
Yeah, he's a horse you have to get to know him. You can't just ride him first month and expect exactly. That took me at least 2-3 months to get to know him at work before the race. So I knew exactly about him. I had to literally get him to settle because all he wants to do in a race is pull, and he does his work back to front. And we did a lot of work with him going forward, and I think he's coming on the right way. His last win was definitely quite impressive. He's definitely a horse that would be one of my best rides on the day. He's in the right field. I think he'll end up being a graded horse if he goes the right way. And at the moment he's doing things right. We finally learned to, he's settling. His last win was beautiful. He settled with me and he did everything I asked of him. And I do like a few others in the race as well, but I do think he can come out on top just because he's got the quality.
You rode Lindbergh last time. Any comments on that?
Also a very nice horse. His last win was extremely easy with me. But I do think Kingdom of Heaven's got his number. Lindbergh's still improving, but I think Kingdom of Heaven is above him at the moment.
Grant's comments are common with what Justin Snaith was saying about Kingdom of Heaven this time last year, Dev. Good to hear that it looks like he's going along the right way. With Kingdom of Heaven though, he's not going to run second, third or fourth. It's either win and look classy or go completely missing. Which way are you going?
Personally, his last win was very impressive, and it seems like he's bounced back to his best. I still remember when his first career win and his second start, Justin still said this is potentially a derby horse for the season. And then he just went to miss, and it's great to see him bounce back in the winner's box. If you want to be brave enough, based on his last win, it could be a pick 6 banker. But also the stable companion 1 Gets Impressed. Good first run out the maidens. And also Lurker's number 8 Touchdown, if you like Gets Impressed. There's a 4 kilogram swing at the weights from the maiden form line. So personally in the pick 6 we go 1, 5 and 8.
Touchdown, of course, being a half-brother to linebacker, who Grant knows quite well. Race number 6 on the card, the first of the feature race, or the first of the stakes race, is the Splash Out Victor Stakes, grade 3 over 1800 metres. This for a stake of 225,000 Rand. Dev, I'm going to open with you because I need a little bit of convincing in this race. I think I might play wide, but depending on what you and Grant have to say, I'm open to narrowing it down. How much can you narrow down race number 6?
The thing is, Alice, is that 2 runners here were so impressive in their last starts, and that's number 7, Gold Poacher Game, batter at Durbanville. It wasn't common this season for runners to come off the pace and win. The Gold Poacher Game at the 400 metre mark, she still had 5 lengths to make up, and she just quickened up with so much still left in the tank. And I think she's going to take her power of beating here. I really do think she's going to be the horse to beat. But enemy territory in the Summer Bowl, I mean, that was super impressive to beat the likes of Golden Hostess. But the only issue is obviously the weights. I mean, she got penalised 6 points. Probably could have been penalised a bit more, obviously being that sort of race. But she got 58 kilograms to carry going 1800 metres for the first time, whereas Gold Poacher Game is an out-and-out stayer. So Gold Poacher Game, I think, is a huge runner. And watch for improvement from Sarki as well. Second run after arrest, I think she can also be right there.
Yeah, Sarki's on my radar. In fact, a lot of them are on my radar here. Grant, even yours is not too far away. I wouldn't describe her as your best route on the card, but Silver Lynx is capable. Where is she in her preparation going into this Grade 3?
I don't like her. I don't think she's an honest filly at all. Her earlier form, she had outstanding form, and Justin thought she's gonna go, all the way to the top. But then she just disappointed. And lately, her work has just been okay with me. But we're gonna try something different on Saturday, see if it pays off. But I can't see us beating Sarki. I think that will take the power of beating. In enemy territory, it would probably be your biggest danger, but with the weight turnaround, she did carry 52.5 last time. The reason why she won so well. But I do think Sarki will take a ton of beating.
Yeah, that's a noteworthy point from Grant indeed, because even though there was 3 1/4 lengths and enemy territory looked the goods last time in the Summer Bowl, there's a lot of weight for Sarki to work with. So maybe I will end up narrowing down the Splash Out Victor Stakes. As we now go on to race number 7, the Ridgemont Peninsula Handicap. This is not a jackpot 2, which I think will appeal to a lot of punters. 1800 metres the distance, 3:05 is race time. They're horses that are in good form here that look like they're climbing the ladder, Dev. It's a big field. I think you need to put your thinking cap on. This race traditionally, though, is a good pointer to, weirdly, a race like the Hollywoodbets Durban July, because I think this race lends itself to horses that are under the radar. So what do you make of race number 7?
I think it's extremely open, one of the more open races on the day. I do like number 1, Ponte Pietra, 3rd run after gelding. Obviously, the last start at Durbanville, I think he's really going to appreciate it here at Kenilworth, just the way the horses have been running from off the pace at the moment. And 53.5 kilograms on the back, I think he's got to be a huge runner. But also 2 Sugar Mountain. The only query is 1800 metres. That's always been the test. Can he last that extra furlong? And last start he actually did quite well behind Sachdev, and he finished off his race quite impressively. 3rd run after arrest, peak fitness. I think he'll be right there. And also Sachdev. He's a bit of a hit and miss at the moment, but also, the way he quickened up his last starts, just has to beat the 15 draw.
Grant, I've got a headache about this race. Did you have the choice? Justin's got a few runners here. Obviously, your sponsorship, as you're wearing your jacket with Johnson Workwear, probably had a deciding factor, but there's still a couple of Johnson horses that you would have had to make up your mind over. There's no open shut case when it comes to the Ridgemont Peninsula Handicap, so what do you make of it?
I think this is probably the hardest race on the card. You have to go as wide as you can. I was always going to ride Triple Time. I think he's quite a nice horse. But as I said, this is a really hard race. There's at least 6-7 horses that can win this. The 1, the 2. Rockpool, if he comes back to best, he could pop up. Maus, then you get Pukaya that says used to, well, 2 runs ago, he has solid form and he could do anything. Future Swing, Sachdev's last win was really good, but it all comes down to the luck. But for me, this is a hard race, and there's at least 6-7 horses that can win this race.
Just a quick question, nothing to do with this race. Where's the Cape Crawl gone? There's been no Cape Crawl at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on return, which is great. It's amazing. And in big field, you'd expect there to be a good pace. What does that lend itself to? Was the Cape Crawl a myth all along?
I don't know, but I must be honest. This is the shortest this grass has been in years, and you literally walk this course and think to yourself, "We're not going to catch the horse in front because it's quite firm." But it's been quite fair. They could go slow or like a sedate pace, and then you can still come from off the pace. It's just weird. I've never ridden at Kenilworth with the grass being this short and you can make up ground, the way we've been doing. I know we haven't been going that slow, but just purely because when you come down to the start and you think to yourself, oh, if I can get a soft lead over here, I'll skip away and they will never catch me. It's not been the case. So it's been pretty fair.
Well, that's all we want. Good, fair racing. Horses that can win from anywhere. May the best horse win. Going into the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas over 1,600 metres. And I'm going to start off with the school of thought that people say it might be a little bit of a weaker edition of the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas. And it might look that at the moment. I disagree. I think you're going to turn around in 6 months' time and we're going to have all sorts of horses coming out of this race that will be competing again at the highest level. There probably won't be any flash-in-the-pan performances in this year's edition of the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas. There's only one visitor in the former Tail of the Comet from Johannesburg, and yes, it would have been great to have Sandringham Summit, main defender, purple pitcher, Give Me Another Chance, and various other horses from around the country making their way down for such a prestigious and famous race. But the point I'm trying to make is, right now, although we're looking at it and there's no Grade 1 winners in the race, and there obviously will be one coming out of the race, I think in the future we are going to know a lot more and have all sorts of names in this race up in lights, and by the time we get to Durban I think you will be talking about quite a lot of these names in very high regard. Grant, you're riding the favourite, number 4 Shishlui. Double superlative, obviously in the same colours, won this race a couple of years ago when ridden not by you if I'm not mistaken. Right, that win in the Cape Punters Cup was so good. He came from off the pace. He came from the same vicinity as what looks like his big dangers, again Snow Pilot and Green with Envy. You happy with Shishlui going into this big Grade 1?
Really happy. I think Justin's got him, feeling amazing at the moment. And when you look at him, you think to yourself immediately he's going to make such a good stallion one day. But obviously he has to win the Group 1s first. And I do think he's heading in the right direction. I do think he'll take a power of beating. Like you say, I think this race, if things go our way, it's going to be the three of us again fighting it out at the finish. I do think Snow Pilot, this race has come really, like, it's a spot on for him. His last run was really good. And so is Green Envy of Team Canamezos. I think they're also in really good form going into this race, so they will come in with a lot of confidence, that's for sure. But I do think Mongos will take a lot of beating.
I want to ask you, because being by Trippy, trained by Justin Snaith, owned by Nick Johnson, ridden by Grant van Niekerk, the immediate similarities that people are making with him and Jet Dark. He's got a long way to go to get to the level of Jet Dark. Does he remind you at all of Jet Dark?
He does. It was the first thing I said when I rode him as a baby. I said, wow, Justin, he reminds me of Jet Dark, everything about him. I mean, Justin would say the same. He's got a long way to go, but if we think he's as good as he is, I think he could, head that direction. And I'll be disappointed, extremely disappointed if I get beaten on him, because I'm very excited to ride him. Because personally, when I rode him at the track when he was a baby, I told Nick Johnson, I said, we've got something special, and I hope he carries, he follows through.
Well, people would rather be right than successful. In this case, Grant could be right and successful. All I can say of those comments is thank you, Grant. And now what do we make of that, Dev?
Look, Shishlui certainly looks like a superstar in the making, and there's no reason for the form to turn unless there's an unknown horse in the race, which I think there is. And it just happens to be a filly called Red Palace. And some people might say I'm crazy, but like I mentioned earlier, I went to the stables on Tuesday, and there was one, I saw plenty of horses work, Superstars, Charles Dickens, Seal Again, the lots, and there was one horse that worked, and literally everyone stopped and said, who is that? Even the cameraman is behind one of the cameras here, who is that? It was Red Palace. And I promise you, Alistair, she looks like a colt. She's so strong, and you would never believe it was Red Palace. And based on that work alone, at about 12.5 to 1, I don't think you can get too hurt. So I do think Shishlui is obviously the horse to beat, but if you're looking for value, maybe for exactas winners, throw Red Palace in there, based on what I saw.
Yeah, but as long as she doesn't keep us waiting in the pens for
That's
half an hour.
the only thing, yes.
Well, I was just going to go there. She was here on Cape Merchants Day to get repassed. Malunda Toy's been called up to help with number 9, Red Palace. Does that mean she's definitely going to load? No, but at least it sounds like there are a few steps in the right direction with number 9, Red Palace. So basically what Devon's saying is, yeah, the 3 horses that look like they're there to fight it out, Red Palace is definitely a worthy adversary. Let's go on to race number 9. It's the Ozo Class 4 for fillies and mares over 1,200 metres. It's likely to be Grant's last, well, certainly Grant's last carded ride of the day. So let's go out with a bang here with your ride number 6, Knockout. What's happened since KZN with Knockout?
I'm not sure, but just look elsewhere. she has to be she has to turn the form around in order to run a place. She's just okay. She hasn't given me much of a feel. So I'll be hoping, I'll end the day off strong, but it will be highly unlikely with her.
I'm keen on a horse here, and I've not discussed this with Devon, but I have a feeling we'll be keen on the same horse. Who do you like in race 9?
No pressure now. Personally, I like Paul Reese's horse, number 4, Girl Like Us. We've done different horses. There we go.
That would be my first choice. Girl
Like Us?
Yes, 100%.
Girl Like Us.
I rode it last time, and she was just put a line through it.
Okay.
She was well, not badly behaved that day, but she did everything wrong in the race. And I told Paul Reeves, jumping on, I said, "You've got quite a nice filly on your hands here. Just put a line through the last run."
Okay. Well.
Okay, I've got 2 horses now. Girl Like Us. So you just hold that thought, Dev. My one is number 12, Mia's Harper. I think back down the straight at Hollywoodbets, Kenilworth. A big runner, but okay, now I've got 2 horses.
Well, that was my second choice, was Mia's Harper. So we are in the same camp, at least. That's good news coming from Grant. I just heard the way she won on debut against Pineapple Mint Green, for example. It was super impressive. Then she raced in the Ready to Run stakes, and obviously things didn't go too well, like Grant said, with 1 or 2 behaviour issues behind the pens. But Tail of the Comets, some horses like that. Passchendaele came out to frank that form line. She's dropping back in trip to 1,200 metres. I think you're definitely going to see a much better effort from Girl Like Us. And then Mia's Harper, of course, I think she's probably the form horse in the race, and I think those 2 will fight it out.
So what looked like an intimidating race, we've narrowed down. That probably gives you an opportunity to include one other if the budget allows. As we go on to the 10th and last race, the Kazan Class 4 over 1,200 metres, a field of 10. Grant's got no round, so straight to Devon Pretorius. This is the Get Out Stakes. Who's winning?
Well, I think here we agree on the same horse.
No, we do.
Yes, we do. It's number 6, Moya Wala Liga. That last start behind King of the Draws. Just based on that run, King of the Draws, I've got to say, is one of the more impressive winners I've seen so far back at Kenilworth. He just went straight to the front, and I thought that 200 he might fall into a hole and the rest of the field's just going to catch up to him, but he just kept galloping against, there was a bit of a headwind on that day, and the eye catch in that race was Moya Wala Liga, who absolutely took off into the closing stages. He actually drops in class now, and I think this is the right sort of field for him, and I'm quite bullish in saying I think he's going to be one of the harder horses to beat in this race.
Grant, I'll be lynched if I don't ask about the 2 horses that you have ridden. 1 Axel you rode a long time ago, but you've also ridden number 8 Fort Red, so there are 3 horses. But 9 Blizzard is interesting. Stayed on strongly last time. You don't get too many rides for Brett Crawford, but bit of eye-catching progress. Did he give you a nice feel? A bit of instinct for next time, which is this time?
I might be shooting myself in the foot here. I honestly thought he was going to be a non-runner because I broke the pins clear. I broke out the pins clear, and I'm looking at the starter, and I'm just like,
when's the siren going?
I looked at the start. I said, okay, are you going to blow? Or what's happening? I'm busy pulling my horse up, thinking it's a false start. And the next thing, the whole field runs past me. I was about 3 lengths in front when I was pulling up. Then the field runs past me, and then after 200 meters, I said, okay, we're racing. It was unbelievable. I think this will take a power of beating. He ran on, and he was off for a long time, and then he ran on into 5th, getting beaten 2 lengths. I told Brett Crawford, I said, please let me ride him again. And then, of course, Louis Stable Jock. I really think he'll take a power of beating. There's a few in the race that could win as well, but this gave me a nice feel. And it would be nice, obviously, for Darren Simpson. Wackett Simpson.
Well, his real name, his mother calls him Darren. Yeah. Well, there's a little bit of honesty. Grant, after that, you can come back. Thanks so much for your time. Really appreciate it. I know it's a busy week. I know it's nerves going into Grade 1 races are good nerves, but thanks so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Anytime, Alistair. Anything for you.
Oh, there we go. It's amazing what an old agent can get out of a top jockey. Dev, thanks so much. You were in the office, so it was easy to rope you in, but thanks for your time. And yeah, thanks for everything that you've done.
Cool. Thank you for having me.
So there we go. That's the Hollywoodbets Cape Guineas preview. Looking forward to welcoming you all here to Hollywoodbets Kenilworth on Saturday the 16th of December. After this, all roads lead to the Lomaron Kings Plate, which will be on the first Saturday of 2024. But for now, we leave you with all those thoughts. I hope that we'll see you here on Saturday. Goodbye.